about now. Should be good now? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's not my end. It's Twitch's end. It'll probably separate here, won't it now? Yeah, it separated it. Not me. My internet didn't go down. OBS, I think the server that I was connected to on Twitch just died, sadly. Nothing to do with me, guys. I apologize. Right, so I'm gonna have to go and say everything that I said all over again, even though it was telling me it was okay. Okay. I got to the part where Fetch was saying, what's the difference between a roll and an inverted roll? This is a roll. That's a roll. That's an inverted roll, because you're going inverted. So whenever you're talking about just rolling out, that is your roll, and that's the inverted roll, by actually going full inverted. Again, just a normal roll. A roll isn't this. That's called an aileron when people do this. This is an aileron. And a barrel roll is basically making a fighter move in between a barrel as you rotate, or as Avenger 1 likes to call it, what does he call it? Pushing into, oh no, it's not, what does he call it? When he rolls to throw the pip off, basically. It's just basically a barrel roll he does. Corkscrew, that's it. When he says he's corkscrewing in, he's actually just barrel rolling in. You know? It's just called a barrel roll. But yeah, I like the name corkscrewing in. It gives the idea that you're meant to be, you know, going in. But you can see with the TVI, this is like your corkscrew method. But it is actually just a barrel roll that he's pretty much doing. I'm sorry about the internet crash, guys. Well, not really. Sorry, I shouldn't even say that. It's nothing to do with me. Twitch server crashing. Hopefully they're gonna get some stuff sorted, because Twitch have been really bad. But it is not my fault, sadly. It might be the current patch of OBS that has issues, but we went for like, what, 4 days with no issues, so it's not like I changed anything. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out, Fetch, what the difference between a roll is. This is a roll, and this is an inverted roll. And this is what they call rolling out. Rolling out. Just basically using the rolls to move yourself in certain ways. It's a shame that I didn't stitch the video, but I really wish Twitch would make the same tech as YouTube, where it doesn't shut the stream down until you shut the console down. It would be so helpful for stitching. This is like one of the most satisfying way to fly, though. It's just cruising around, watching somebody else do tricks. Like, we're doing wee 90-degree turns there. Sometimes it's called turn the clock, which is basically going through your roll axes. So it'd be the 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't remember what Americans call it. I'd actually have to look that up to see what the flight teams call it. I can bring here. The biggest issue that we have right now, obviously, is unlike real life with formation flying, where you do certain things, this game is network bound. So we're always going to be in a situation where, I don't think that was actually Dustin's fault. I think that's the server and game freaking out a little bit. We have network. So as much as this is an incredible way of me doing this, and again, I'm keeping... Jesus, he folded his wings. Folded his fucking wings whilst doing it. I always give people room when they start doing things because I am one of these kind of pilots where I will cancel a maneuver to survive the ship. And when you're chasing somebody, I would rather let them go into their roles and stuff. If I were on comms and stuff, it's a lot easier to relay those things like, right, I'm going to go into a right inverted roll, rolling now kind of deal, and then it's up. I'm staying on the wing, but also keeping in position where the lead can keep at the height. Because again, if you are leading, you generally want to be higher than your low flyers, which is difficult to do as lead because you want to be doing the kind of tricks that you're used to and stuff. But when you are leading, you have to take into account that somebody might be on your left, somebody might be on your rear, somebody might be on your right if you're doing formation flying. So low flying kind of style goes out the window. So the best way to do it is to stay on the ass at distance, and then you get the height down. And this is what allows Dustin to do all his tricks, but I'm also maintaining a very safe distance, so he can go here. I can follow it by mimic. I'm not going to mimic that one because I'm not exactly sure what way he's going to do it. So that would be where you hold back, and we could have done the kind of barrel roll there. But this shit, you know what I mean? Like, this is where I would not be able to mimic the exact same turns because I can't keep eye on the ship. So I'm always at the situation where if somebody did something like that, I would rather just stay cruising until they finish their maneuver and then get back in, or do something that, you know, captures it, where basically like this, I go high and then bring in underneath, down, and that way you have that kind of silky movement. Hey Arctic, how you doing, Chief? And again, these are ways that are just really nice to work in a team for people doing flight in general. Is this game offers 60 OF, which obviously we don't get in formation flying in real life. So when he does like this kind of shit, I'm gonna lose action of camera, and then my safety goes out the window where I'm putting myself high just to make sure I don't crash anything. And sometimes it's just better doing, if you're chasing, just do something that puts into a side view instead of trying to reenact the same thing, because that's, Dustin does that move. I would have to practice it over and over and again to be able to mimic it. And again, just for the safety of your ship and keeping the cruise going, I always cancel out of doing something like that if I'm following somebody. I would rather capture them doing it than trying to mimic it and end up either crashing into the person or I lose the ability to stay behind. So again, sometimes it's best to just cancel on the move. So he's doing something here, I'm just going to watch it, react, go in a bit inverted, you know what I mean, and keep in right behind nicely. We're still at the same speed, notch it out, and then we're going for the canyon. He's going to do some backflip shit crazy, but I'm not going to follow because again, I could do the maneuver and we're going to lose the speed, the momentum. It's always best to just stay in that tight formation. He's off that way. I'm playing it safe because we're losing light and we're getting dusty. He's doing a lot of spirally shit. So you know what I mean? Like, I always play as safe as I can be. Because for me, I would rather not do that stuff, which I can do, but I would rather where I don't crash from practicing and we just keep the cruise going. And since you pretty much play as cameraman as the rear pilot, it's better just to do these things, you know. And I'll go high here, give him plenty of space, and then get back in. I'm going to go left here because I'm in a better angle for a sweep. And then push on. Still keeping that distance, getting those trails. Nice recording stuff. Going in, I'm going to go left here, give a bit more room so we get more peripheral vision of Dustin doing the stuff. Slot in on the right. Push round here. Now I'm not watching his exact position because I want to navigate through the rocks. He's going to do some wacky shit here. Want to capture on camera, but also go to where I think he's heading, like here. Capture it there. He's going to do the stuff here. I have no idea where he is. I think we just scraped slightly, or he scraped the ground going by the flashes. So again, just give room. Let the server sync up a bit. And then push back in and slot into formation. Yeah, see, he's sparking. So I'm pretty sure server is having a panic attack right now. So I'm playing very safe. I'm not going to go low. And again, just keep with the formation flying. This is where a lot of time people try and capture or copy everything. And they overspin. And they don't need to do it. They don't also need to spin. Just think about working as a team, capturing the person in front of you instead of trying to show off at the same time, I think is much more beneficial. Plus as we got the flashes now. Also he's missing some wing stuff there. Chill music, like. So what, like the stuff, if you ever watch Chromogenics and the guys doing the stuff, like the tricks that they do is crazy. Very well controlled. For me, I find this very slow, very chilling. And that's where, as much as you've got the tricks down to a T, that you got greedy there, Justin. You got greedy. You did too many rotations of skills or tricks, and you should have pulled out after the first combo, got your bearing, and then gone into the second one. But you got greedy! Got greedy. Awesome flying, dude. Really fucking sick flying. I love the fucking, like, shifts that you're doing. I think that's really fucking sick. But yeah, you got greedy there, sir. How long does it take, to fly like this? Hours and hours and hours. Hey Hyphen, how you doing, Chief? Welcome in. Thank you very much for the follows as well, guys. Exclamation mark April, guys, if you want to get involved in our weekly giveaway. Might as well. Also, PvP combat on person to person got better. Yeah, exactly. It's really good, Arctic. Really, really good, this patch. It needs a little bit of fine tuning on certain things. Like all the new cloud stuff on Daymar might be slightly overtuned, but they can bring it back, you know? Yeah, it was awesome, dude. Thank you. It was really chilled, actually. I was just enjoying sitting behind, explaining things. Much better than having to do anything. Now you've left me where I've got to fly. I was just cruising. But yeah, awesome stuff, dude. Those like sides spirals are really, really impressive. Well, that was, I was gonna say, I'm spending $275 on the ship package. Does it give me access to the game? You don't need to spend that money, Arctic, dude. You do not need to spend that money. You can buy, right, so this is what I would suggest to you, right? Arctic, if you've never played the game before, first of all, we've got Free Flight coming up at the end of May, which will have a discount for starter pack. Now, listen to me on this one. What you could do, right, is you can buy a starter pack now, right? You buy the Avenger Mustang, I think is, or sorry, the Aurora. You buy the Aurora, you test it out. 24 hours later, you can melt the package down, and with the same money buy the Mustang, which allows you to start off the two starter ships. So you buy the Aurora first. 24 hours later, it allows you to play the game. You can actually melt it, get all your money back in credit format, and then rebuy the package that gives the Mustang Alpha. Then, obviously, you can then upgrade that to 100i, and then you can do to like an Avenger Titan and stuff like that. But you're wanting to go straight for the Constellation Andromeda. Okay, so the Andromeda is going to allow you to play, long as it's a package. If it's standalone, it won't allow you to do that kind of stuff. You call it the Matrix roll, so it's a downward roll for... Yeah, because you're pretty much doing, like, this kind of axis, which is a really, really kind of cool thing. But you incorporate a little bit more movement into it. I need to watch it more and more to see. But yeah, that was pretty sick, Dustin, I have to say. So it depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, dude. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's like the best thing to buy an Andromeda straight off the bat. It's a big ship. You don't really learn, you know, the smaller ship mechanics and stuff like that. It's your money. You want to go crazy, go fucking batshit crazy. I'm never against people wanting to spend their own money for their own pleasure, so... Yeah. I can only advise you on what I think. The best start ship I feel is the Avenger Titan. It lets you get into the game, allows you to do pretty much everything apart from salvaging. And then you just can go from there, you know. You can upgrade, you can't always downgrade unless you melt the package completely down to its core. So sometimes it would be better to buy like an Avenger Titan, for example, and if you don't like the small ships, just farm the money on the Avenger Titan and buy a big ship in game. That's my recommendation. Again, your money, do what you want. However, use !SC reference and use my referral code, because that helps me. It won't help you, but it'll help me. It'll give you 5,000 UEC, which means nothing in Star Citizen these days, but it will help me push towards getting a free Javelin. Thank you. If you do use the referral. Don't go straight to bigger ship, you need comfort, and yeah, I always feel like the best is to start with like an Avenger Titan. And then just buy things in game, you know? Especially with free flight coming up. You could literally buy a Constellation Andromeda in like 3 weeks of playing the game. No need to spend 275 to get it straight away. But again, your money, you want to spend that on it? Awesome, dude. But you can get that ship in game by just purchasing it. Might be something to consider. Lets you play with smaller ships that are cheaper to run, cheaper to upgrade, kind of deal. Yeah, you can... 3 weeks from here, yeah, if you were an Avenger Titan, it'd probably take you faster. You could probably do it in a week, to be honest, Arctic. I'm just looking at maybe if you don't have enough time to play each day. You could easily grind a Connie up in a week, if you know what you're doing. Like, grind it in game by using Avenger Titan, you know? Very, very easy. If you know Captain Burks has a money-making guide. Just follow that. Go to YouTube, Captain Burks. You'll see a dude with some good hair, and he has a money-making guide. Actually, you know what? I'll do one better for you. Oh, I need to restart this. Give me 2 secs. Quit Stream Deck. Is that plus tax? Every country is different for tax, so I wouldn't be able to help you on that one. Right. Let me get you Captain Burks' video. Captain Burks. There he is, the cheeky monkey himself. Videos. Do not buy ships with real money. This is his video here. I will send it to you there. If you need a quick money guide, go to Captain Burks' video. You do not need to spend like it, watch it, subscribed, bell notification on. I don't because I can't be bothered listening to. I'm just joking. I just watch a lot of YouTube, so I don't need notifications. But you don't need to actually spend real life money on the bigger ships. You can actually just grind them in game now. I think it's quite easy to make like 1 million after your first or second day, even with a start ship. And it lets you learn the mechanics before you buy something bigger. Thanks again for going 220 and chilling. See you later, Dustin Dude. Thank you very much for the lead. I appreciate it. Again, I don't mind going these speeds, but I'd rather follow somebody. Like for me, I can't do the slow speeds kind of flying. For me, it's all about the speed and energy of movement, but it is really cool to fucking watch somebody just chilling and vibing, especially with not pushing the nose down too much as well, which I really like the look of Dustin's flying, because he doesn't fly like this. He was flying horizontal, which definitely impresses me, because I have a thing for this kind of flying. When, especially, I'm doing it to the most extreme case, but you do see a lot of people flying like this, and they're just like, yep, let me just quickly do a roll, and they're like, yep, that's beautiful. It gets a little crazy when people do that. How do I avoid pirates? That's a learning curve of the game, Arctic. Learning curve of the game. Watch your radar. So radar being this area here. Anything red is potentially going to kill you, but even a blue can kill you if they wish. Spawning at right locations. Watching chat sometimes is a good thing. If people are like, oh my god, such and such has killed me. I was busy just collecting parrots. And they killed me. You know, those things can happen. I love how it looks when people fly at 0 degrees. Yeah, exactly. It just looks natural. I know a lot of people like cryogenics and stuff, they do the nose down. They don't do it as extreme as some people, you know. A few of Terada's guys are ridiculous experience. So when you actually look at it, there's 0. That's what Dustin was flying at, and it's just beautiful to watch. Cryogenics is like 5 or 10, but I've seen people where they're at 35 and they're flying like this. This is how they fly. Like, oh, I'm low flying. No, you're literally just flying a nose on the ground. That is all you're doing, you know? Because they're like that. Full fucking cockpit. Just, it's like, dude, seriously, you are just literally got your nose in the ground. There's no fuselage that's ever near it, so. But most of the time you see people starting to level off a bit more, and it's going to get more with aerodynamics where you won't be able to do the nose down stuff unless you're going a lot slower. Plus they plan to add in auto hovering again, and you may find that the slower you go, you might engage the auto hover system or hovering system, which means that you will have to learn to fly horizontal. So again, we'll see how all these things come in the future, but it's nice to see somebody doing those kind of tricks at 0 degrees, horizontal flying, as I call it. Keeping that nose up, putting the fuselage more in danger than just keeping safe. Look at that, man. Like a fucking dust. I really like it. If they just take off this, like, grainy vibe here, like that one there. But I love watching these fucking... Like, look there, the dust in the distance, going over the hills, and it's crawling, it's rolling just now here, rolling a bit there, there's it rolling on the crosshair, you can see it moving, So there's like rolling dust basically moving down, and then obviously when you've got the there, like it goes in the wind and then it settles down kind of thing. It just needs a little work to it to make it not look so like crazy. But this was added in 3.17. It's not like, there we go, look at that, with the sand blasting off like on the hills. It just needs to be a little bit less spiky. Like that's cool there, and then we'll, maybe if we move around here, and we'll catch it spike off again, if it does. Yeah, there. And it goes up into the air. That is fucking sick. It just needs to be a little bit less grainy for what it's doing. There's also quite a lot of like particles moving around. And we'll do it here again. You'll see it spike off. Maybe? There's a wee puff that way as the wind catches it. Because obviously we're not seeing it here. Or maybe we're seeing it here because of the wind. It's not as visible. And then obviously now we're behind the wind. The wind is heading this way. You can easily see the wind now. You see the sand moving over the top. And it's only until we get round here you're going to see it like, basically. On the top of it. Like there. And that's really, really cool. And now you see the storm's actually passing. So it's not as powerful in the sky now. So the sandstorm is actually past. It's a little bit more clear skies. And then obviously we're now kind of still in this little rut here. Oh, that was close. Forgot I'm in decouple for this chilling. But yeah, it just needs to be slightly toned down. Slightly toned down in certain areas. And maybe made more dominant as the rolling storm moves. You know, when you go into the rolling storm, you can't see shit. And if you pass through it, that would be a really cool kind of situation. Again, it's all... They're just getting into the tech graphic, you know. A lot of people like see there, that's quite grainy on the eyes. But I actually want to see when they stop the flickering that we have right now. So, see this? This is what I was saying to Dustin when he sent me a tweet. If we go down here, see how it's shaking? See that shaking? I think this is what's causing the dust storm to look really, really dodgy at times. So they have to fix whatever's causing this shader to vibrate. Because I think that also makes the dust a little bit too crazy. I think we will in the future, yeah. It's all like baby steps with this kind of technology that they have. Where it's getting better and better. Harrison looks so good now. It'd be kind of cool if we got some cloud in this area. Doesn't need to be as much because obviously it is a moon. But you know what I mean? Like I like the fact, if it wasn't for this weird like flashing glitch that we have just now. I really love the idea that if I burn here, for example, this is something that they've just added back in 3.17. See the trail starting? Now if I bring her down on the height level here and kind of kick it there, you can see the spiral behind, and it would be kind of cool if the spiral was a little bit more kicking up the air. But if you get people in the straight, let me see if I can actually get the straight to show the rear camera on it. I'll get faster and faster. I'll try and get lower and lower here. See it there? It's so fucking sick to chase after somebody's sand trails. Blasting across the ground. And that's way more dominant than it was in 3.16. It's really, really cool. So these little subtle things are just... It makes the game so much better for me. Especially for just flying around. It's everything, the asteroids, the yellow, yeah, it's exactly what, it's just, I don't know, somebody's forgotten a full stop or something like that. Mums, how you doing today, Chief? Keeping a natural pitch lets you thrust up using the afterburner faster. If you pitch in this game, it also uses boosters as well, Reformed, just to tell you that did. That is an upstrafe to make the ship fly like this. That is literally upstrafing right now. You can see the G's are pushed the moment you do this, even when I'm at 0. So sadly, like, you don't have natural lift in this game, which is what you're talking about. Keeping a natural pitch lets you thrust up using the afterburner faster. Again, if you go in a straight line, dude, it's easy to maintain afterburner. It's the moment that you actually start incorporating fucking tricks and actually turning your ship around at times, that's when you drain it out. But most of the time, I just see people flying in a straight line. Of course you're not going to run out of afterburner doing it. You will not be able to fly nose down when they add atmosphere lift. Depends on the moon though, graphic. Like I said, if you went to Selin, which doesn't have an atmosphere, you can still do the nose down flying. But on like Microtech and Daymar, yeah, you will have to fly horizontal because it does have atmo. Daymar is a very light atmosphere. People think it doesn't, but it has plants and everything on this moon. I mean, to pull up and burn afterwards for evasive flight. Yeah, but obviously you don't want to pull up too much, or you lose so much speed if you do that. Yeah, they're gonna hit the floor very fast because they'll do this and they'll nosedive straight into the ground. But again, I don't think we're gonna be able to fly this low, graphic. The moment that they put in the ground barrier zone of flight, you're just going to get pulled into the ground and smash anyway. So I actually think low flying in a safe but also stylish way is going to be about this height. Personally did. Bringing it down maybe to this height. But I'm pretty sure when they add in proper aerodynamics and ground surface control, you're not going to see people flying at speed like this. You'll get literally disintegrated by only certain ships, the way they're shaped, would ever be able to fly within the ground zone of flight. That weird kind of air bubble that appears. It's like ground zone or something like that it's called. The ground effect in flight, where only a weird shaping kind of wing system can actually fly through it and basically glide. If it was like an arrow, you would just get fucking smashed into the ground the moment you hit at a certain speed. If you're going in slow, obviously with VTOL and stuff like that, we would be then into our auto landing system, so we're going to be flying like this to kind of balance it out. We're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to sit like this in the future. You will be literally having to pulse the engines and move her around a bit more like a helicopter into VTOL landing, horizontal landing, vertical landing, whatever you want to have to do. But that's far away. That's when they bring in the new systems and stuff. So I think this would be like low flying in the future. This is what people will be doing for low flying. And even this will be ridiculously skillful at high speeds, because you'll just get drag and stuff pushing you down into the ground. Vortex ring state. Yeah, but it's also like the ground effect fetch. If you look up the ground effect of flight, there's this weird area that when the body of a plane or a helicopter is at a certain height, at a certain speed, it literally does weird shit. And only certain like shapes cut through this air and allow it to keep lifting you up, and it's like a glide basically. You just hover above the ground effect. But an arrow is not shaped in that way to do the ground effect. Yeah. Well, I mean, all the bigger ships will have massive downfall to like flying in. I'll show you what I mean with the ground effect of flight. Here we go.
like it wants to float above the ground. This is known as the ground effect, and this is how it works. An aeroplane in normal flight, high above the ground, is subject to an undesirable force called induced drag. This force is the byproduct of lift production and is caused by the airflow below the wings spilling around the wingtips above the wings and creating a large twisting vortex. The twisting vortex causes a downwards deflection of the relative airflow. Consequently, the lift vector tilts backwards and extra drag is created. When an aeroplane is flying closer to the ground, the downwash is restricted, so the formation of the wingtip vortices is also restricted. In ground effect, the lift vector is not tilted back as much, so total drag is less. This means that less thrust is required to maintain the same airspeed. In ground effect, the air pressure on the lower wing surface is slightly increased, so more lift is generated.
A little bubble that you sit on.
This is what contributes to the cushioning sensation experienced by the pilots. Ground effect is most noticeable when the aeroplane is flying above ground at a height of less than half its total wingspan. The effect is stronger the closer the wings are to the ground surface. Ground effect plays an important role during takeoff and landing. During takeoff, as the aeroplane climbs out of the ground effect, the wing's ability to generate lift decreases and induced drag increases, which results in reduced climb performance. When the aeroplane enters the ground effect on an approach to land, it tends to float longer due to the extra lift and lower drag. Ground effect may also decrease the stalling angle of attack, cause the airspeed indicator to read low, and change the stability characteristics of the aeroplane when flying closer to the ground surface.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us. So basically what happens is when you're coming to land and taking off, you're at certain speeds. So when you get faster and faster, it's like a little cushion that goes, woo, up you fucking go. And when you're coming to land, it's sort of like it cushions you as you're coming in and stiffens up things. However, if you try to go speed in what we're doing in Star Citizen, ground effect decides to make it where you can't fucking turn or pitch up and stuff. You're basically caught in that bubble, so the moment you get into it, you're kind of like, oh well, there goes all my fucking controls, and you slam into the fucking ground. This is what might happen if CIG adds in the ground effect. They might not do it. However, drone that flies through the ground effect. This shit is fucking sick.
What you are looking at
is a drone
plan or ground effect vehicle.
Right. This is a drone that can fly through the ground effect because it's shaped to gain the lift from it, which allows it to go fast and basically hover above the fucking ground, which is insane. And this is what they want to do with like building planes for the future, where they don't really go into the air, they sort of just fucking hover above the ground, you know, like if they're using water or something like that. And this thing basically allows it to fly within the ground effect at speed and turn as well. And this is really, really fucking cool shit, where it's just, you've got this drone sort of just like, you know how when you put your hands out a window and you feel that kind of wave? That's technically ground effect working on things. Not on an extreme scale, but you can feel that little like kind of push on your hand basically as you wiggle your thing. This thing flies in it, which is really, really fucking cool. Because obviously traditional planes that are shaped differently can't do it. Like Cessnas and stuff cannot fly at speed. And obviously this is scaled down to drone level. But you know what I mean? Like flying at this speed in a Cessna would be very, very dangerous. Some people can do it, you know, but we are literally talking about a few feet off the water and moving at speed, because it's literally riding this cloud, this bubble of air underneath it, and it's so fucking cool. So if obviously they might design a ship that could technically do it, but it's pretty fucking sick watching these things. And this obviously, down the upgrade, you've got this bad boy.
Kind of plan going. It took a week.
Where this guy's made the autonomous, whatever you want to say, name on that. But look at that shit. Look at it flying in the ground effect. And it's just silky fucking smooth. And you don't need to strafe up or strafe down. You literally ride the bubble. Doing this less drag, more fuel economy, speed. Exactly, yeah. But how fucking cool is that, man? It's really, really fucking cool. It's very interesting stuff. Again, it's only on drone level right now because, yeah, nobody's gonna risk a fucking, like, full-size plane just now doing this stuff. But look at it ride just above the water by just riding the ground effect. So cool, man. Again, there's no propeller pulling it up. This is literally two props pulling it across the effect, or risk their lives. Exactly. This needs a lot of testing to do, but this generally allows, like you said, allows less fuel because you're riding the ground effect, which basically speeds up things for less energy. But you can't do this with traditional planes. They literally either go up because the ground effect pushes you up, or you fucking smash into the ground because you can't ride it. This thing can. And it's so beautiful to watch. And the crazy thing is, I actually see this full-size drones in the future where people are riding around lakes and shit. You know how, like, in the past, we would do it in boats. You know, people go out water skiing on a boat. Imagine fucking water skiing being pulled behind one of these motherfuckers, like, you know? You get a drone that's powerful enough to tow you, and you're literally on this silky fucking flat water, you know, as you're a water skiing and shit like that. Because obviously there's no wake or anything coming off the boat. And I love doing water skiing. I've not done it for a long time and stuff. Well, obviously that requires a lot of testing, Lucifer, you know. Welcome in, Chief. That will require a lot of testing, because then what you need to have is where maybe the plane has sensors underneath it that detects buildup of water and then raises the height to ride in a different area of the bubble from the ground effect. Because obviously if a wave is moving along, yes, it's going to get hit. So it needs to sort of have a long range sensor that sort of does this kind of movement, where it'll slow the props down to kind of lower the height or raise the height by going faster. And obviously that requires a shit ton of testing, but very, very cool shit. Because again, as we're talking about in the future, if CIG did add in the ground effect, a ship like the Arrow at speed, and we're talking about I'm at Mach 1, would not be able to fly at this height without fucking smashing into the deck or being pushed up into the area by the ground effect and catching normal waves. If I was going here, now you would be able to slow down, or maybe this would be like the safest sort of height, but we're talking about going into ground effect now, and I'm pushing 600 meters a second. This thing is either dead or I'm going up into space, or you know what I mean. So if CIG do add in full aerodynamics with ground effect, low flying goes out the fucking window at that stage. Yeah, you can link it if you want, Mr. Tuvo. That's totally cool. I'll quickly check out. Fuck's sake, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Let's check out quickly.
This Soviet creation has been dubbed the Caspian Sea Monster.
Yeah, this thing's fucking stupid.
Its designers believe the Ekranoplan, a low-flying ground effect craft, could ultimately replace cargo ships and ferries.
Yeah. Because faster, cheaper than a boat if you do it this
More
way.
than 300 feet long and 130 feet high, the Plan was first sighted several years ago by U.S.
But it never got pushed out. Because again, it was just like, you know, at that stage, it needs to have the automation system in it where it knows to raise up depending on, or avoid storms and stuff, you know. And back then we didn't really have the technology. Nowadays we do have, where, like I said, you could see, instead of like cruises kind of deal, where you have one of these things just fucking powering across, because again, it's cheaper than a plane to send across, like from UK to America. It would be so much cheaper to do this, and it takes away the amount of emissions that we have in the atmosphere caused by planes, cargoes and all that jazz. You know? It would take longer for people, like, you know what I mean? Like, Amazon might get affected by it slightly. Maybe your next day delivery goes out the fucking window, but you've got to admit that when at the start of COVID, when they actually had to shut down a lot of air traveling, our atmosphere got so much better without all the emissions. So, working on ways to use like a battery foil kind of system, and maybe your delivery gets there a day later, I'm all for. No more of this next day delivery shit that causes issues. 2 days later, but it comes with an electrical vehicle that crosses without having to fly high. Exactly the master, you know, because you can put solar panels on the back of it, so as it's crossing an ocean, and these things can float as well. They're designed to float and fly. So they can easily make it where it's basically just a boat that fucking hovers, and it's just easier to do, you know? Maybe not electric for moving like cars and stuff around the world, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, absolutely low-flying nutters in something like that. But I don't think it was ever flown by, I was just about to say flown by real players graphic. I don't think it was ever flown with pilots. I think it was literally a giant drone of the day. Alright, tough. Take care, dude. So yeah, really cool. I don't know where CIG will go on their system for aerodynamics. I don't think it's going to be hardcore. I don't think it's going to be like DCS or Flight Simulator kind of style, because again, we are talking about 6 DOF spaceships. You gotta kind of keep it in the idea of space flying, but obviously the faster you go, technically speaking, we already have the mechanic in place where as I'm flying at 800 meters a second and I start yawing, I can't show you, I'm using my pedals basically, you see we have flight lag already in the game. Flight lag is already, this happens in real life if you do this shit. So we have the ability to have like a fake like flight lag just now, and it bounces us back, which means that basically if I want to turn at speed, I have to basically go into a roll and pitch. I'm not strafing, and we're going round and round and round, but now we're pushing some serious fucking G's, which black you out, even though it's only 2 G's, but because we're only on one axis, we're up to 6 G's now, 7 G's, pushing us 600 meters a second, nearly 575 as I pull it back. We're up to 8 G's right now. This is how you fly, you know, in a traditional jet plane. So you're not using the strafes and stuff. Because obviously if I start strafing, this is where the weirdness goes. Where I can't yaw to turn, but I can strafe right. So I'm using my right joystick just now. Left joystick to strafe to the right, and you can see that it turns. If I use my yaw, it'll snap back. So it's, you know, there's a lot of fakery shit in it, but we have to take into account that if they ever put a flight model, and we do have ships that can fly in atmosphere. Now, one thing I've been wanting in this game for a long time is I really wish maneuvering thrusters can't use afterburner. And it's only your main engine that can use afterburner and your retros that could use it. I think this would be a really good way for the game, because not only would it make PvP or PvE flying combat more traditional, getting on somebody's ass, outflying them instead of this nose-to-nose kind of combat, and rate fighting and radius fighting become a more potent thing, but it also allows it where people need to learn how to control their speed to turn. So again, this would force people going at speed. They wouldn't be able to just fucking, you know, yeehaw, do this shit and fucking do that kind of stuff, because all your maneuvering thrusters and your main thrusters, and it would be more where you have to be like, there, that big rock there, right where I'm looking there, that's my circle point, and we're having to come basically like this and turn in like this way, where we come in and around, you know what I mean? And we're still doing what we did beforehand, but none of this shit that does break the game massively. The fucking, whoa, fucking handbrake turn, fucking go ahead. This really fucking pisses me off, because there's no fucking way to do this in an atmosphere. Like, some helicopters wouldn't be able to do this shit. So I just think, again, once they add in aerodynamics, and it's different for space, you know, but in atmosphere, I really wish they would make it where maneuvering thrusters didn't allow afterburners, so you actually had to slow your speed down so they can actually turn you, and then push in this way afterburner with your main engines going forward. If anyone remembers the broken Ares when it first came out in PTU, that's how I would love to see all fighters and all ship fly. And then obviously ships that have VTOL would have a benefit from being able to land faster than a ship like mine, which doesn't have VTOL. Kind of deal, where I have to come to a more to a halt, but VTOL would be able to, you know, cruise a little bit before it lands. Well, that we're going to get the ability to, if anyone remembers auto hovering, that is coming back, Gauchi, but they want it where it is more like a helicopter collective, where, for example, when you come to a hover like this, if I wanted to move forward, I can't just use my main thrusters. I would have to basically nose down and kind of get her into that gear a little bit more, and then bring up the speed and stuff like that. They actually want it where it's a little bit more like a helicopter when you're hovering around. Say, for example, you're wanting to get somewhere, you would be like pushing the nose, because then the main thruster is angled, so you can actually get her around and kind of strafe in this sort of method. They do want it like this, and then obviously you're like, right now I'm coming to land, I would bring it into horizontal and dunk it down. This is where they want with the ability to control this, because this is what CIG don't want anymore. They don't want this anymore unless you're in space, because this is the most stupidest shit you will ever see. This is why land vehicles and stuff like that are completely pointless right now in the game, because again, instead of having troops moving across the ground to deal with a bunker, you can just have your ship do this, and oh look, there's somebody over there, oh they've got a railgun, oh I can deal with that. This is where the game becomes very, very fucking dumb. Now if you had it where a ship had to come into land or hover, and the gunners were doing all that job, that's a different story. But the pilot should not be able to be like, fucking, I'll just circle around you and fucking do this shit, you know? That is going to be eliminated from the game. The problem is when they first brought out the auto hovering system, they didn't have aerodynamics, which made it very, very wonky. I enjoyed it, but a lot of people really didn't like it. So again, whilst they're working on aerodynamics, they're working on this stuff. I think also Yoki mentioned in one of the videos last year that they actually want to bring in like a foil kind of collective system for dual joysticks, where you could press a button and then your forward and back action will do thrust control and all that jazz. Because my pedals, if I do left, right now I've got no thrust now. I'm going to fall out the sky. I have no thrust, even though it's there. I use my right foot to engage throttle again. If anyone's wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, basically if you ever zoom in and you're looking at this area, this is your thruster power. So that's on maximum at that level because it gives a little bit more for afterburning. But if I use my left foot, look at it now, it's slowly following out the sky, raise the thrust. So again, if I strafe up, okay, and we hold her there, if I take off the thrust, and I'm in couple by the way, because the thrusters can't counter the gravity like they could beforehand, I can actually bring myself into a very silky landing without, I'll go into landing gear now, and I'm basically using it here to, and we're not even decoupled, so I'm literally using jet thrust or maneuvering thrust to come into a very silky landing, just using my pedals. Just lower it down now. I don't know if I'm clear underneath, I didn't check obviously, but you can see here, I'm using power down on thrust to land. And I'm not using decouple. You can literally see there, obviously it's flickering, I apologize for that. It's not in decouple, so I'm not laterally falling out the sky. Obviously I can't raise up now, but now with thrust I can push myself up, which this allows in the future very, very silky movements where, for example, if I want to do some really fine movement into landing, you know, I can basically put it down to this, and look at this. Look at that, I'm still coming into land, but I've got very, very silky smooth. And I can still just slightly move her around. Look at that. And that
received. Generous and
thank you so
clever.
much, dude.
Bravo.
But you see there, this is literally, can we get some vibes in chat please? This is me using thruster control. I'm not using, look, I'm literally not in, let me just put it back up again. Thruster up. I'm not using lock SEM. And I'll even prove that where I'll just do this and I'll push it all the way to the top so you can see that I'm not bullshitting you. So now the lock SEM is right at maximum speed. I am using this to basically control my speed. So I'll bring it down now. And you can see here that I can't strafe very fast. But this is where you would be using that to bring in. And I'm going to give a little bit more power just so I can get the silky in. Again, I'm not in decouple. I'm in couple. But I've restricted down the thrusters where I have this amazing ability now to move around without using SEM lock, just by powering down the thrusters to come in and do a natural land, like if I was going to be moving around a big ship or something like that. Which again, when we get the ability to not do this shit, it will allow people to manage their thrusters and come into like a natural hover and have to basically do this kind of action, you know, without it going full thrust. And it's like, yeah, it's just, it loses all its silky movement. Thank you so much for that, TheDarkLaw. I appreciate it, dude. And this is where, obviously, in the future, aerodynamics, maybe if they add in ground surface, they're adding in the auto hovering or the hovering system again. It might just be where you literally cannot land unless you manage your thrusters. And again, when I'm toning them down, obviously what we're doing is just basically means that the ones underneath that hold me up, these ones, so I bring them down, the power's down, you see it actually shifts, and I'm sinking, I'll turn it on. See what I mean? So now you see the actual thruster there. Let me get a little bit of height, because I don't want to crash, so up we go. So you can see there, that's the normal kind of burn. See it burning away? Now I'll shut it down. No power in the burn. And it's just falling out of the air as we speak. And I turn it back on. And it starts to burn again. So for me, I would love to see if literally they make it where afterburner can't affect strafing thrusters. And it's only on the main thruster. But you actually have to manage your thrust control to make it where your maneuvering thrusters have a little bit more power. So for example, if I'm wanting to like fly in a straight line or have some turns like this, I don't really need to have thruster control. I can turn it off. Obviously, since this game doesn't have the effect, you can see here that as I go forward, but I've got no thruster power, we're now going to shift around. The ship literally has, and this is where aerodynamics is faked. I'm falling out the sky because I don't have thrusters. I don't have the ability, I can't here now turn and go into basically like a glide. If I turn my thruster on again, see how I can just rotate and then we'll go into a glide, but I still don't have pitch. So you have to have thrusters on for us to actually fly in this game, because there's no aerodynamics. It's all faked around thrusters. The new system won't fake it, which means that technically speaking, an arrow can come through the atmosphere, lock on target, fucking kill its engines and come in more stealthily swooping, activate the thrusters at the last moment, and people are like, shit, how did they get in a couple of thousand more meters than they would normally be spotted? And it's because their fucking engines are cold. Or they're at the stage where this is a hot engine. If I tone the thrusters down, see what I mean? It has no puff. It's trying to afterburner, but there's nothing. Turn the engines back on again with heat. And again, I'm not turning off the engines. I'm literally cooling them down where the fuel ain't going through. And again, it's just here. If anyone's never noticed the thruster power management here. It used to be this weird coil thing from the past, you know? Great time for an ad. That's when I will stop talking and wait. How you doing, Buff Wombat? Welcome in, good. And close quarter flying as well, yeah. So I'll wait until Scott is back. And could call them in upper atmosphere if it's simulated. Exactly. So the future of this flying will be
Captain,
really fucking cool.
Someone has gifted a Class 2 access pass.
No problem, Scott. Mr. Duve, thank you for gifting to Buff Wombat. I appreciate it. Gifted 6 months. Gifted 6 months of tier 1 to Buff Wombat. You will never get an ad in this channel ever again for the next 6 months, Buff Wombat. Thank you so much, dude. That's fucking nuts, Mr. Tua. Thank you. Good vibes all around, guys. So yeah, control surfaces, ground effect. If they add in the hovering system to, again, like I said, this is so shit for the video game being able to do this, you know? The dude dropped 50 bomb the other day and isn't even sub. I know. People do that, dude. I drop gift bombs in channels, and I don't even follow or sub them either, Mr. Tufo. It's just sometimes people do it. So this needs to go. This thing's shit for the game. Arcade mode, exactly. So the new flight model will prevent what I'm doing right now. When you're coming in to land, you're not going to just go landing gear and then this. You're actually going to have to rock her a little bit more to position. It's not just going to come in silky smooth, which again, having this lower the engine thrust down on the left, you can see clearly here that I've got this beautiful motion now of basically hovering and gliding her in. No problem there. I'm not able to move very fast, so it's so silky. And again, we're not in decouple. We don't even need to use decouple for silky movement. This is what a lot of people are like, oh, you have to use decouple. No, you don't. Just power down your thrusters and stop fucking moving at full speed with Alt W held down and you'll get it. I can literally auto hover here with a little pulse and I'm using no fuel. Easy to move around. I don't have it fully shut down. I've got it maybe on a like 10%, 5% maybe of throttle. And then obviously if I push down on my pedal and go maximum, obviously now I can go fucking woo up away at 200 fucking meters a second. This is going to be so sick when it comes in. And again, what I would love to see in atmosphere is, I don't know how they're going to do it in space, but the worst thing in atmosphere is this is, say for example somebody's in front of me. This is your combat in atmosphere right now. This is it. You're literally sitting at like 150 meters a second, but you're not moving. You're just spiraling around each other and it's very, very boring. What would be cool in the future is like you would be chasing after somebody like this, because you can't just instantly turn around. Keeping that fast movement, then getting behind somebody and being like, brr, 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 and then maybe they pull a fucking Top Gun, and then instead of you going, whoopsie daisy, I'll just fucking 180 instantly and start moving in the opposite direction, you might have to be like, alright, they've managed to get around me, I have to control the scene. And this is, if anyone wants to see the videos coming out in May, we have something on the channel which I was talking about, which is Logan and Logan Fight, and this is basically taking off like the flight or flight stuff, what other people do, but it brings realistic combat into Star Citizen if you're interested in like games like DCS World. Obviously it's not as similar to it, but what you do with this flight style is you take away your shields, you turn shields off, and you're only allowed to use mass drivers, so you don't have the ability to repeat. Now, if anyone has ever flown an arrow versus mass drivers, it's only 3 or 4 shots and your arrow with no shield explodes. Now, this combat stuff we're going to be doing, I'm going to be getting people that, you know, want to get involved, content creators, all that jazz, is you have to play like this, and you can still missile each other, but instead of going into that, right, I'm going to lose all my speed and shoot, and shoot, and shoot, and then I will probably die if I lose so much speed. The whole game method is you lose lag pip, and if you wanted to make it even more challenging, take away ESP if you're dual joysticks. Obviously, if you're fighting another dual joystick person, you can keep it. But the idea is you need to bring people into rotations, and Tough Mudder is the only one that's done it with me for the pilot. And I can quickly show you the beginning of it here. Obviously, the rules have slightly changed on it. We'll do YouTube, so I get a quick link onto it. Also, !VODS and Shorts. We have 2 new channels now, guys, on those links. Oh, I actually need to change the Shorts one. Or is it Short? Did I make it where it's just Short? No, it didn't save it. Anyway, the Shorts... let me quickly edit this. In the process, the Shorts command is wrong. It's meant to be on something different. Let me go through here. See if it's on the YouTube command list. So, Shorts... Yeah, the Shorts one is wrong. Let me switch to YouTube mode. Chat commands. Thank you for everyone who's remembered on YouTube as well. Yeah, here we go. Let me change back to Twitch. I'm just going to update the Shorts command. That playlist won't be effect very shortly. Let me do this. Chat command here. Shorts. Shorts. The VOD command is right, though. And save. Oh, it's not saving it. Let me try again.
Well, I do not want to save that one.
Alright, now it should be saved. So let's do Shorts. There we go. So we've got 2 new YouTube channels. If you are interested, basically this one is the Shorts, which will be putting all the short videos on it. I appreciate everyone for the views. Then we've got the VOD ones, where we'll be putting the VODs just here from Twitch. But on the main channel, this is where you're going to find the videos. So this one here, if we bring it up, this is using broadswords. This is what we're going to be doing for more people, where you cannot face tank like you would normally do. You have to constantly swing around, because again, 2 or 3 shots and you're dead when you don't have shields. And this is a lot of fun. So I would like to get like Detox, Zero State, Salty Mike involved, Burks. It's very, very challenging because again, you're allowed missiles and you're using ballistic railguns, which do a shit ton of damage, and you just can't do this combat. You have to get around on people or it doesn't work. You just die so fast. So you got to be defensive and aggressive at the same time. And again, missiles in play. One missile kills you, so you need to learn how to dodge missiles or you're dead. It's a very, very hardcore game mode. And this was basically the pilot just to show it off. Making sure you keep that speed, because again, 1 or 2 shots and you lose your wing. And we did this without ESP, which was a lot of fun actually. Obviously, this has nothing to do with like Star Citizen. This is a completely different game mode. Arena Commander, if you wanted to think of it. Not to use the terrain. Some fights take 10 minutes because again, if you turn badly, there was one recording we did with Mr. Tuvo, and he turned, Tough. He turned badly for like a split second, and I vaporized them in a split second. Obviously, there's a bit of desync in that one. You don't get in free 17 anymore, because this was back in January this year. This is very dodgy to fly it like this. See what I mean? Because the moment you turn bad or you lose all your power, you get absolutely clapped. So this is what I want to do with more people. And it's not... The fuck? It's not going to be done live because I literally want it where people don't know what the outcome is, basically. How close is 317 to live? So we've got 3 major problems right now. 1, there's a weird flashing texture glitch on everything, Taco. The other one is that the new streaming tech is still a bit kind of, sometimes places like Grimhex won't even render. And the third one is items, when you move them around and you make your character go into this grey mode where you can't interact with anything, which is a big killer. Those are the 3 ones that I see are major blockers just now. Gauchi, if I've got a moderator. Tuvo, you there, dude? Can you give a permit to Gauchi and then we can watch it? I'll bring it up on the other PC, because, again, I can only watch videos on the big screen if there's copyright-free music, because obviously the VODs. What I need to, it's like, I wish they had the ability where you can make it where the live stream hears things and stuff like that. Alright, cool. Let me have a look here. 155.
I can hear them flying around.
What do you say, 155?
That might be a friendly though.
Thinking I want to go in for the Berserker, and I'll be like, all right, cool.
I think that allows you to see. Actually, one minute, guys. Let me just quickly pause this here. I need like the windowed preview mode. I should always have this set up. Actually, I don't know why I don't. Yeah, I can do that like that. That's fucking sick. Right, so here, if I click on there.
Te da tiempo, ¿eh?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Uy,
right.
uy, uy,
I'll do
uy,
it,
uy,
big
uy.
one.
Buenísimo aterrizaje.
Is that what you're talking about?
¿Dónde vas?
That landing there.
You know?
Te da tiempo, ¿eh? Uy, 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 uy. Buenísimo aterrizaje.
Is that what you're talking about?
¿Dónde vas?
Dude, that fucking me, like, I don't know if that's
Va con su cajita.
a fucking landing or if that's just lucky, to be honest.
Te da tiempo, ¿eh?
That's a... Yeah, I would say it's a bad landing because you're coming in like 5 times the speed you should be, but... Lucky you managed to, like, stop it before hitting the big things, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. A week or 2, I believe, also that looked insane. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get some content creators in and yeah, do the fire. Well, it's not really fire flight, and I would love to try and get like people like Burks, Zero State, Salty in maybe to do like a 2v2, but I generally feel like it's going to be very, very short with 2v2. 1v1 you can strafe around multiple people, but 2v2 I think it might be too hard. But yeah, I want to do basically like an episode a week, and it's very easy for the guys. All they do is literally get on Discord or Guilded, sorry, record their screen that they just share, and it allows me to like copy it in 4K and do all this stuff, and you don't see anyone's faces, you don't even see any peripherals. It'd just be literally like if you were watching this, for example. That's what you're gonna see. And yeah, it's a really, really good game mode. I wish this would be the angle ships have to take or slower. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see it. But again, we're not going to see the new aerodynamic stuff until a while. I'll try and find Taco if you're still there, dude. This is the issue with the glitches right now on graphics. I'll bring it in here. Look at this shit. See that? This is on everything right now. So trees, rocks, Grim Hex, asteroids, clouds, everything. It's doing this fucking like it's having a seizure, basically. This has to get sorted. Because it's so bad, like when you're in a city and the whole place just goes... It's like if I was to do this constantly, you know? On my screen. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. It's not too bad if you're away from it, like at this height you don't really see it, but when you're in a big city or surrounded by trees, yeah, it's... Like, I don't really get motion sickness or like vision sickness or anything like that, but it does make you feel like, it's like, oh, I don't want to look at it for too long kind of thing. I would imagine if you have like epilepsy as well, it might be very difficult as well. They mention it's known issue, so if I bring up the recent patch right here, there is visual glitch. Many assets such as new Babbage buildings and Grim Hex are shaking and flickering, causing visual discomfort. It's everywhere in the game. That's one of the major blockers. Then this one, items do not immediately transfer from loot crate to personal inventory. That's still a big one. And this one here, equipment loadouts get stuck, which means that you can't take anything off you. You have to log out of the game to do it. And then obviously the new streaming tech that they've sort of added in. But those are the three major blockers for me, which is the streaming tech, the visual glitch, and something to do with the items. Because 3.17 is very much a patch for what's it called? I'm guessing somebody's complaining about this. Let's have a look. This is my thread, by the way, on it. That was deleted. That's it. See if you are this guy. Alright, you're gonna get your shit deleted by a moderator. I hate to tell you that, because you really need to read the rules of my thread. The only person out of the Star Citizen staff that has a pinned message, 5 years maintaining this shit. So if you know this person, please don't reply to people. Do it in DM, alright? This is only if you're looking for an organization, not replying to people. So if you're part of InVed or whatever, you know this dude, tell them to get this shit deleted, because they'll just get fucking blocked from posting by the wonderful moderators who police this shit. So please, don't be this dude. Just do what it's designed to do. Thank you, please. Because again, please don't advertise your organization. So yeah, those patch things need to be sort of fixed before we go ahead. Visual discomfort is an understatement. Well, again, it affects different people. For me, it's kind of like, you know, it's bearable to, you know what I mean. I couldn't look at it for long before having these issues. But hopefully we'll see it go before live. Live, I think, may even go into May, to be honest. I think we're at this stage where I think live will either be this week or next week, and then the moment it goes live, 3.17.1 will be out in the PTU as well. But I am looking forward to 3.17 live, because it means that I can start recording my stuff, because I don't want to do it on PTU, purely because, again, there's a few bugs, so I need it to go to live, because visuals flashing is not good watch stuff. Hydrogen fuel, 50%. Right. What shall we listen to? Yes, this will be my wombo combo here. Alright, we might have to cruise a bit. Let's see here. Any mountain range. Oh, we could actually probably just go somewhere. Maybe Shubin will be up now. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on as well, guys, because, yeah, we really need a patch. Arc Corp, Sun, NT, Security Post, Coup d'Or. Do I have anything? Eager Flats. We'll go there. That should be in the sun shortly. Hopefully we'll get patched tomorrow. And we'll hopefully get those visual things fixed, because it's driving me nuts, man. Yeah, definitely would like to see if I have time to speak to Ondo and Salty. Because Salty wanted to do these kind of maneuvers, and I think I know a way how we could do it without making it too complicated. Oof. Look at that dust, man. Holy shit. This is where it needs to be toned down certain areas. Like on the flats and stuff. Doesn't need it too much. Around mountains is better for it. See if we can actually burn through here. I think it actually just generally has the same issue that we used to have on Microtech. Like the same bug, it just needs to be sorted. Yeah, we'll do that, man. I love how corpses last for so long now. Like, that's my corpse from easily like an hour ago. Just sitting there. Perfect chill. wish I could remove the marker when not needed. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But for me, I like knowing it. You know, it's not that too potent, and you don't see too many of them, you know, when it pops off, so. Yeah, Mr. 2V. Yes, please, dude. I can't afford anything else, or I would be asking for way more. Thank you, sir. Obviously, if you can, if they do a restriction, just get your own stuff, and that's cool. Crazy how much afterburner you can burn and the regen on it. No corpse. We do have somebody blue though. That's graphic. I'm gonna chase graphic. Top Gun engaged. Need to know like the log speed you're flying at. It's like same behind me. See if we can mimic. Probably been flying around for like half an hour, no problems. Crazy how like the slower you go, like how much afterburn you actually use and not. What Mustang is this? This is an Arrow. Don't think you can do it actually in the Mustang. Well, that went well. I know, dude. So that was the case, like, I'm pretty sure I'm cursed where the moment I start going behind somebody, they just pop. It's like a curse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mustang cannot fly like this. But yeah. It says the exterior for a second and thought it was a Mustang. Yeah, this is definitely Arrow. I'm pretty sure I could never do anything like this with a Mustang. They are good ships though. I got the Omega one, which is really, really nice. Wonder when this thing actually stops for the discount. Thought I was a reclaimer. Yeah. I wonder if this goes to the end of today then. Yeah, looks like it. Even from this distance, you can see the stuttering. Holy crap! It is mental. It is mental. Anywho. Anywho, guys. I really can't do it much more until they fix the few problems that we have just now. Looking forward to seeing what they put in the patch. Again, if they can fix the glitch stuff and they can fix the what's it called? The grey kind of like bug where you can't move items around. That will be sick. Sick. But yes, I'm gonna go and spend some time in the rain with the pups, get some exercise, and hopefully, well, I mean, we'll be back tomorrow, but hopefully on Wednesday we'll have a patch to go through. I kind of need to change the this one as well. Yeah, I'm gonna do that from now on, because the eye tracking stuff ends today. Who can I send you on to? Who? Anna's playing Grand Theft Auto. I don't know if the website still sends it over. Not many choices, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say. Again, thank you very much to Senalaya for the love with all the gifts this week. And thank you very much, guys. Is Croncy on? Let's have a look. I don't think I've ever raided Croncy. Oh, he's got a beard. Yeah, alright. That's an instant win. I must support the bearded bros. Yeah, let's send you on to Croncy. He has a beard. That's as much as I need. There's nobody in the Toby to send to. Anna's on, but again, I want to keep it in the Stars and Cans Grace. So we'll go to Croncy. He's a cool looking dude. He's got Luigi. It's me, I'm Mario. I could say some other stuff, but yeah, I think that's safer for the other thing. But yeah, thank you very much for all the love today, guys. And yeah, I'm going to send you over to him. I will be back on tomorrow. Hopefully our stream doesn't kill itself and all that good stuff. But yeah, have a great Monday. Stay safe. Thank you very much, Mr. Tuva, for the subs. Tackle Loco for the resub. All the follows today, guys. Exclamation mark 8po. Get involved in the giveaway. The code is about to come up. And again, cheers for all the love. Appreciate it. Code's over here. Right here. Well, now it's over here. There it is. Daily code. All that good stuff. Thank you again for the love, guys. Remember, we're going to try and go pretty big on Saturday for the final day. Hopefully it might be live and all that other jazz. But I appreciate you. And yeah, I'm going to work on getting some more VODs ready to go on the channel. Hopefully we'll get some shorts going as well. But yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Tuvo, P. Bond, Dark Neon, Greg. Thank you to Chris, Scott Rowley, everyone else. Subs, take care. Appreciate it. He likes his peak.